Oh my God, guys. My favorite slash least favorite. So, there is one man, one Democrat who got the move to the center memo in a really just someone. James Carville entered this man from his anus and is now moving his hands with his arms. And he's all about it's the anti-woke left. And somehow we got to really lean in. And that man is Governor of California, Gavin Newsom. Gavin. Matt and I make fun of how his name is the most California ass name, Gavin. Gav. And Gav, who again is basically what if Bruce Wayne was real and like talk like this, except he, didn't do cool shit. Gavin Newsom has decided that he would take time from not fulfilling his promises as governor, like universal single paid healthcare, high-speed railway. He would take time. He would take time away from vetoing harm reduction bills that were passed by the California State Assembly. He would take time out of his busy schedule clearing homeless encampments because he is absolutely primping and prepping his little Bruce Wayne ass hairstyle for a run at the White House with the most despicable centrist policies. And he would start a podcast. Take some time out and start doing a podcast. And was this podcast in the face of a hostile government takeover, of a hollowing out of the United States and the federal government, of a swift move to a Putin-like kleptocracy where only friends of Trump become rich off of our labor and everything can be just liquidated and sent over to Elon Musk? No, he's not going to stand up against that. He is in fact going to lean all the way in and speak with Mr. Charlie Kirk. That's right, guys. Gavin Newsom's first podcast episode is with Charlie Kirk. Now, Charlie Kirk is a 31-year-old head of Turning Point USA, which is basically like a nonprofit think tanky, like campus organization that rails against campuses. Against higher education, specifically against what they see basically like racial justice and democracy and gender equality and like LGBTQ people existing, deserving human rights, railing against, for lack of a better term, the wokeism that exists on college campuses, i.e. the knowledge about history and our current moment on college campuses. And he's made a name for himself, obviously. He's a massive right-wing influencer star. He's got his own podcast. He loves to opine about how many eggs Taylor Swift has left. He's an avowed Christian nationalist. He thinks Halloween is scary and evil. He's literally said that. And somehow his facial features get smaller and smaller on his big-ass head every single day. So that is Charlie Kirk. And this is Gavin Newsom. And I'm just going to play 3 clips from this interview. I did listen, and let me just say, it's awful. It's at every moment where you think Gavin Newsom could push back or say something, he couches even the smart things he says in a capitulative, like he is sitting, like someone told him that this is your late night show and you're here and you're helping, Dakota Fanning promote her new TV show. Like someone told him that he's going to do softball interviews with celebrities. JK, the celebrities are going to be the biggest mouthpieces on the right. And his first interview, of course, was with Charlie Kirk. And he starts off by admitting in a very long and gushing monologue that his 13-year-old son is a massive Charlie Kirk fan. Wild.
Last night, trying to put my son to bed. He's like, no, Dad, what time? What time's Charlie going to be here? What time? And I'm like, dude, you're in school tomorrow. He's 13. He's like, no. This morning, wakes up at 6 something. He's like, I'm coming. I'm like, he literally would not leave the house.
Did you let him take off school?
No, he did. Of course not. He's not here for a good reason. But the point is
you canceled school for like 2 years. Once one day.
The point is the point, which is you are making a damn dent.
Thank you. I'm kidding.
When you go to these college campuses, I love.
Okay. This is insane. Hang on.
Watching your TikTok, which is
Thank
next
you.
level. And clearly that's expressed by my 13-year-old son.
I want to meet this guy.
Yeah, I actually
He's coming to a Turning Point event this summer, Tampa, Florida, Student Action Summit.
I actually am by the way, if
You should be concerned.
But actually, let me say, here is why I'm concerned, because you have expressed that I should be concerned as a Democrat, that we're getting clobbered.
Yes.
That you've figured something out.
It's not me. The president first deserves the credit.
But why? No, hold on. You were at this before Trump was Trump.
I know, but
he was a Democrat back in 2011 and 12.
The president deserves huge credit. And I just have to say that as an obligatory thing, because without him, our movement would be small. And you can appreciate that in politics. You have to appreciate the person who is the catalyst.
For you, that's what you sort of attached an identity.
It was also
with
just the catalyst. It was a cultural moment that just opened us up.
I have to just, give it up to Mein Führer. Like first and foremost, first is God, aka Donald Trump. I can't even express how gross it is that Gavin Newsom has a perpetual smile and is giving him props, but evil props. Like, man, you're like out there, you're making a dent, you're making it possible, even though I completely disagree with everything that you stand for, allegedly, or maybe I don't, but I don't know. But it's about the brand. It's about brand recognition. You got that brand recognition. My son wants to meet you, and he said, Dad, and yes, and I'm concerned, but tell me how we're getting clobbered. Like, look, I've seen the filleting of Charlie Kirk by so-called progressives, Democrats. This is like a deep throat operation. This is truly next level, and it doesn't get better. It is awful. And they choose, the cold open is like basically the clip that happens at the very beginning to get you sort of interested in it. They chose the clip of the cold open to be Gavin Newsom admitting to Charlie Kirk that his 13-year-old son loves Charlie Kirk. Like, we're f***ed, guys. We're so f***ed. You claim to stand up for women's rights. You claim to stand up for gay rights. You're talking to someone who is a mascot for everything reactionary about this moment, for tearing those things down, and you're admitting that you're not your son doesn't look up to you. He's not excited to meet, progressives or leftists. He doesn't listen to Hassan Piker. I don't know, man. He listens to Charlie effing Kirk. Like, super surprising, but also low-key not surprising at all, right? A little bit like that checks out. Gavin Newsom is an elitist. Gavin Newsom doesn't actually care about the things he stands for. It is a brand for Gavin effing Newsom. It always has been a brand for Newsom. He'll pivot, and I gotta say, if there's New Yorkers listening or Floridians listening, you guys have terrible Democrats. You really do. Obviously AOC, there's outliers on, you know what I'm saying. But like, California Democrats are such a specific type of elitist spinelessness. I don't even know how to express myself. Like Kamala, and it's not about spinelessness. It's about, I don't stand for really anything, but I'll just be what you want me to be and say the right things when you need me to say them. And I truly won't stick my neck out. We're not talking about Midwestern Democrats. These aren't your Tim Wallses, okay? They haven't done the concrete thing. When they have their supermajorities in their state assemblies, they're not passing legislation that their state wants, right? Minnesota has California beat when it comes to the amount of progressive legislation. And yes, we've got some good things here. Okay, we do have an expansive Medi-Cal system. We do have, I believe, a rollout of a universal pre-K system, but that shit ain't here. I can tell you that much as someone who's paying way too much for daycare right now. But like, it is not nearly as comprehensive for the number of Democrats and the amount of support. This is a state that went to Bernie Sanders, y'all. This is a state that went to Bernie Sanders in 2020. Like, they do not meet the moment. And let's just keep going. There's a couple of, so that was that. And then of course, right, there is a moment where Charlie Kirk asks Gavin Newsom, why doesn't he take a stand against the scourge of trans athletes? You guys, how many times has a trans athlete ruined your day? Never, but probably maybe if you think about it. If you think about it a little bit. So listen to Charlie Kirk basically understand he's got Gavin Newsom from the beginning of this interview in the palm of his fucking hand, and he's going to use it to hit the same marginalized communities and you do the same distracting things that the right always wants to do. Remember, it's the right that's talking about trans athletes, not the left. It's the right, not the left. It's the right, not the left. You think we care? You think we're fine? We're way more interested in access to universal healthcare, housing, a Green New Deal, stopping corporations from charging you whatever owning a home in our lifetimes. Trans rights or human rights is in the broad swath of things we fight for, but we're not trans athletes number one. Why? There's just not that many of them. And this is what Gavin Newsom says.
Right. You're talking to me about people.
Yeah.
It's like you right now should come out and be like, you know what? The young man who's about to win the state championship in the long jump in female sports,
right.
that shouldn't happen. You as the governor should step out say no.
No, and I appreciate. But
like, would you do something like that? Would you say no men in female sports?
Well, I think it's an issue of fairness. I completely agree with you on that.
I can't with this guy. I think it's an issue of fairness. I completely agree with you like that. Charlie Kirk not only is like got the governor of fucking California, the stalwart, the resistance, our beacon, the one who's going to step to MAGA, the one who gets to debate Ron DeSantis now, who's looking like a bigger bitch than Ron DeSantis. And that is a really tall task. I mean, it's tall in, his little man heels that he wears. It's hard to look like a bigger bitch than Ron DeSantis. And Gavin Newsom gets there with this answer. Charlie Kirk just misgendered a trans girl, a teen in high school who's doing the long jump, because we all watch the long jump in this high school sporting event, the female long jump, y'all. That's way more important than a teen girl being raped and then forcibly made to carry that rapist child and raise that rapist child. Right? He says, okay. Yeah, no, I think it is an issue of fairness. Men in women's sports. He literally said that and he agreed to the fucking framing. Gavin, man, you've been around enough libs. You've been around enough luncheons. You know what the word cis means. You know what the word trans means. Come on now. You've been indoctrinated by us crazy wokies to know to have a little bit more fucking respect for the trans community than that. Truly, though. And then it gets worse because he says, oh, yeah, you're right. It's an issue of fairness. And then
it's an issue of fairness.
So
it's deeply unfair.
Would you speak out against this young man, A.B. Hernandez, who right now is going to win the state championship in the long jump?
Boy, did I saw how you guys were able to weaponize that issue at another level.
Not weaponize.
Weaponize may be pejorative. You're right. But you were able to
shine a light on?
Highlight it in a way that, frankly, there are not that many out. We're talking about, I think, the NC2A, 510,000? No, but I just didn't realize.
It's 890 medals and trophies that we know of in the last 5 years. That's
no, so I'm going to, let me.
800, I mean, if you include, the crawling champion with those toddlers we saw, we're not really sure how many of those toddlers were actually male toddlers posing as female toddlers. And we all know that when it comes to crawling capacity, the male body is far more limber and just the femur length is so long that men can crawl much faster. Baby men can crawl much faster. So you see Gavin trying. He's attempting. He's like, I saw you the way you were able to weaponize. He's like, don't weaponize. Don't say weaponize. Like, oh, you're right. I guess utilize. Like, this bitch is walking away from everything.
Step back. Say completely fair on the issue of fairness. I completely agree. So that's easy to call out, the unfairness of that. There's also a humility and a grace, that these poor people are more likely to commit suicide, have anxiety and depression. And the way that people talk down to vulnerable communities is an issue that I have a hard time with as well. So both things I can hold in my hand.
The way you can talk down to the trans community, like you can't, number one, you couldn't even say, did you say trans? Yeah, I don't think you could say trans, but you could just say it, doesn't matter. And you're not going to, turn to dust. They do exist, but by you not saying the trans community makes them feel invisible. And so it's easier to legislate against them, to hurt them, to maim them, because you can't even say the word trans. Can you say the word abortion? Because Joe Biden couldn't. So notice that, right? And then he's like, these poor people, the way people talk down to them. You mean like you just did? I mean, the way you're doing it now when you're like, oh, it's an issue of fairness. Just say, there's a way to say this. Say, look, you guys make a mountain out of a molehill. There are only 5 trans athletes in the NCAA or whatever it is. I'm more concerned about X, Y, Z. I'm more concerned about, again, women and girls being denied their basic fundamental rights that was stripped from them, a 75-year hard-fought right. Here's what I'm doing. Here's how we're coming back. What is this right now? What is this consultant bullshit that we're seeing right now?
How can we address this issue with the kind of decency that I think, is inherent in you, but not always expressed on the issue?
No, I get it.
At the same time, deal with the unfairness.
The decency that is inherent in you who rubs elbows with the Nick Fuentes, you who rubs elbows with the Daily Wire and the same kinds of mouthpieces like Michael Knowles, who says transgenderism should be eradicated from public life. You've got decency? Oh no, I don't think so. What's going on, Frantifa? If you haven't already, subscribe to this channel right now. Hit that button. And also, you can become a patron and support the show every single week. Get access to bonus episodes and exclusive merchandise. Patreon.com/Bitchuation Room. Do it.